Alright, YouTube. So today we're going to be going over whether or not Ineffa is going to be worth pulling and using your valuable Primogems. So Ineffa is going to be coming out in a couple days time, and she is going to be introducing a new mechanic called Lunar Charged. It is very similar to Electro Charge, however Lunar Charge is going to be doing what seems to be a little more damage and has the ability to crit. Now, the upper thresholds of this crit damage is to be determined as of now, because the character is not officially released or in game, and people to playtest and try to get the absolute maximum capabilities that they can. Currently, we have some content creators having early game access, such as I-Win, to provide some clarity on the character in of itself, right? As well as other early guides on Bilibili. But that's all we can really attest the damage of Ineffa is current team builds, which seems decent, but also a little wonky and gimmicky. Now, the upcoming Spiral Abyss is where we are seeing some damage, being shown. However, you have to keep in mind that the new Spiral Abyss is very catered towards Ineffa, given the fact that the first half characters Electro Charged and Lunar Charged damage is going to be increased by 75%. So that's not really a litmus test that we want to be focusing on, because obviously the content is geared towards the new character, and so they're going to perform a lot better. But what's important to note is that what Ineffa is really trying to do is obviously implement the Lunar Charged, and in order to do that, she wants a Hydro character to being able to apply that Lunar Charge and have the overall maximum damage capability. So ideally, you have characters such as Farina and Nuvolette, as well as Yelan as 5-star options to apply, the Hydro effect onto the enemy so that that Lunar Charge can trigger. You also have some other options, as well as some other options that you do have, but it does seem like there is a gaping hole in terms of team compositions to really get the absolute maximum full capability of that, Lunar Charge mechanic. Now, keep in mind that supposedly, according to some speculations, we are going to be getting Flynn's in 6.0, who is also a DPS Lunar Charged character. So, the true capability of Lunar Charge is going to be coming out when Flynn's does come out. So think of Ineffa as like an early stage Lunar Charge character, but also being able to fully bring out the maximum capabilities of Flynn's when he does come out. So you have a full patch to wait for that as well. If you do decide to pull for Ineffa, you do have to wait for that, and then you can see more damage capabilities, and then you have to wait for an inevitable Hydro character, but I will talk about that when I talk about the full banner breakdown of 6.0 to 6.7. But yeah, so Ineffa is going to be interesting. The Lunar Charged, I'm not saying looks bad. It actually looks pretty strong, and the capabilities of it are to be determined. But the very base value at the very beginning, they look good, and they look like it's going to be a very strong mechanic moving forward, as well as other new mechanics that Nodcry is going to be introducing. So, is Ineffa 100% worth your Primo gems? I mean, it's somewhat of a cop-out, but the answer is yes/no. So, the reason why she is yes is because the potential of Lunar Charge and how far it is going to go. Just with Ineffa alone, it seems pretty strong. Now, will Flynn's be able to fully bring out that capability? We don't know. That's to be seen when he does get released, as well as some other Hydro character that has to come out in Nodcry to make that team composition like perfect. the reason why she is also a no is because it is an unknown commodity. Now, what I mean by that is because on the flip side of the potential being there for Lunar Charge, we also don't really know because she is the first character to introduce this new mechanic, whereas other characters in the banner are very good in their own sense because they're part of known commodities. I think the biggest competition she has in this patch is going to be Sitlali, just because of the defense shred, as well as being a staple on the quote-unquote best team in the game with Mawika, as well as Shalonen and Bennett. But that doesn't necessarily mean not to summon. For me, I'm going with the Sitlali route just because I want to complete my Mawika team. If I already had that option completed, I would probably summon for Ineffa because I want to see how it's going to perform long term, the Lunar Charge capabilities, because it is going to get buffed down the line in this new sub-region of Snezhnaya and Nod Cry. But that's my opinion, is that she is a yes/no summon. It's not a definitive either or because the potential is there, but also on the flip side, it could be just massively disappointing.